I'm here today via Skype with Herman Frank, guitarist of a new heavy metal band, Panzer, or I've seen you referred to as the German Panzer, and he also plays for this other little band you might have heard of, Accept, and he's there along with Accept's drummer, Stefan Schwartzman, and bassist Schmier from Destruction. Panzer's debut album, Send Them All to Hell, was recently released on Clear Blast. So, Herman, thanks for taking the time to talk with We Love Metal today.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, so first of all, how did Panzer come about? I mean, you and Stefan are in this kind of traditional power metal, long-running band. How did you guys hook up with Schmier?
I mean, the thing is that maybe we got a little bored in between the gaps of Accept touring or something like that, Mm-hmm. So we came up to do something different. I'm always doing something different besides Accept. I've done a couple of solo albums and producing and stuff like that.
Sure.
So we came up, or Stefan came up this time with the idea, to form a trio, to do a little bit different kind of music and do something in between the gaps. So he mentioned Schmier on the vocals, and I said, "Are you kidding me?" Because I always didn't Schmier knows as a vocalist, really screamy and high voicing and stuff like that.
Sure.
That's not serious talking question, They said, no, I heard him singing different, and he's able to. And so I said, okay, that sounds like a challenge to me. Give it a chance. And we met then down in Basel in Switzerland and started talking about what kind of music and what plans we could do, and we got drunk real fast. So I said to myself, if somebody is that well, he might doing well with doing music. So we gave it a try, met in the rehearsing room a couple of weeks later, and it worked out real well.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was quite surprised about his voice, and I was right, and he was right too. He can sing different.
Sure. It's definitely heavier, I think, than a lot of what I've heard you play before.
Yeah.
So it's really a nice combination of the two styles kind of mashed together.
Yeah, that was what I found interesting in this thing, just to change a little bit the style and do something a little bit different what I've done before.
Sure. How did the songwriting come about? I mean, did you have ideas, or did you guys just get together and work it out?
I mean, I drove down for the first practice with a couple of song ideas, and so we worked them out, 2 or 3. It was Mr. No-Brain for sure, and Why. And then I went back because the direction was clear then, and Schmier came up with one song, Welcome to the Freak Show, the first time,
mm-hmm.
And so everybody was clear about nearly the direction we want to go. And then I sat down in my own studio and worked on the most of the songs I wrote. And Schmier came up with another one. And these days you can send MP3s and ask the other guys, hey, is it good or is it not good, or should we do it like this? And then when everybody agreed, we met down in the studio for 2 times. The first session was 4 days. We recorded 5 songs. And then the next session was 5 days, and we recorded the rest of the songs. I guess 11, the next 6.
Okay, yeah.
So it worked out. It worked kind of like this, that I prepared the songs.
Yeah, it seems like that kind of collaboration is happening a lot more, where people are in different locations, but they can still work together. Just because.
Yeah, I mean there's Skype and something, and you play the song and ask, hey, what do you think about it? And then everybody throws in a couple of other ideas, and so it works.
Sure. Hey, you mentioned Mr. No-Brain as the first song. That was really the one track that stood out to me on my first listen through. I said, I love that song.
Oh, cool.
It's musically, it's a little different and pretty interesting. So, kind of, what's the story behind that? Maybe the lyrics and the music.
And the music, I just want to give it some rawness, some freshness and kind of like live feeling. That's why we recorded that fast in the studio anyway.
Uh-huh.
And don't polish the sound that much, And lyric-wise, I mean, Schmier always wants to put out a little bit with the finger on every problem in the world. That's a reason why I do really like him. You know?
Uh-huh.
He never gives up, and that's also a reason why we call Panzer, because we never give up. We're rolling like a Panzer, and we won't get tired to point out of things and stuff and doing music.
Right.
But lyrics-wise, it's Mr. No-Brain. It might be what he tells me. He got the idea. There's always standing somebody in front of you and doesn't notice that you are in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
That's an easy example. But Mr. No-Brain are all also a couple of politicians.
Political.
Yeah, guys.
Politicians.
Politicians. Thanks for this word. They treat us like. I mean, you have to change a couple of things in the world right now. I think it's going wrong.
Sure.
And I agree with Schmier that I always would like to point out of a couple of things.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's really a great track. So.
I mean, we don't. I'm quite sure that he doesn't want to write about witches and triple kill and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, that can get a little old. So.
Yeah. I mean, he's over 20 now.
Aren't we all?
No, I'm 32. Still, in my mind, yes.
One more time. Okay. All right. Yeah. Panzer. I'm really digging the album. I've only listened to it maybe 2 or 3 times, but
cool.
It's it may have a chance for some end of year lists, even with the little time that's left here. So.
Yeah.
All right. Of course, you're best known for your work in Accept, and since they're a nuclear blast artist too, I hope you don't mind just taking a couple minutes to talk about that band. Starting.
What would you say if I mind?
Yeah. Starting with Blood of Nations, I think you guys have really been on a roll. So, is the introduction, of the new singer, did that really kind of spur you guys in a not a new direction, but kind of gave you new energy? It felt like with Mark.
I mean, Mark was the best thing what can happen to Accept.
Yeah.
Let's face it, on this little line, you know. I'm quite sure that Mark is such a nice guy, and he's such a great singer, you know. I really like him. I love him. He's like a brother to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that he was putting so much effort into this thing.
Yeah. Blind Rage was it's really a great album, too. So, you guys are plugging away and really love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't know if you were still there. All right.
I'm still with you.
Hey, okay. How about some slightly personal questions?
Yeah.
Not too personal though. How's your family? How have they dealt with Herman? He's that crazy heavy metal guitar player. Your family supports you through it all, or?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you couldn't do that.
Sure.
Otherwise, you couldn't stay it, and you wouldn't go out for tour for that long time, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they do have to support me. That's the reason why they got their only special credits on the record.
Oh, okay.
I mentioned just my wife and my daughter. That's it.
Uh-huh.
These are the most important people in my life.
Sure. Okay. You've been playing for a long time, so curious how did your interest in music start?
Well, I got in touch with music in kindergarten, you know.
Uh-huh.
And I was in a musical kindergarten from a guitar factory called Framos. In the early days. Then they broke, and I was playing their flute and stuff and learned the notes and stuff like that. Then I went to school, kind of like high school, and had to play 11 years or 10 years violin and get education in harmonies and stuff like that. So
sure.
it all started with music. But then, in the age of 14, I wanted to play guitar.
Uh-huh.
And so, my friend was playing drums. And so we had to find another guy who was playing bass. And there was another friend. We said, buy a bass and we want to form a band. That's it. And from the start on, we tried to create our own, to write our own music, you know.
Yeah.
I never did like cover songs. But that's how, I mean, then you start listening to all this stuff, you know, Black Sabbath these days, Ted Nugent and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you get your influences from that. And you just give it a try. And I've always said, I want to stay once in my lifetime, I want to stay on a big stage.
Right.
And so I worked for it.
Yeah. And you've definitely gotten to do that more than once.
Yeah,
so.
It happened.
It's worked out. All right.
But it's different sometimes than I expected.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah. What's maybe one of your most interesting places that you've played?
It's hard to tell. Some of the interesting places had been the smaller clubs.
Sure.
Actually, don't believe it or not. I mean, because if they are packed, then it's great. Then it's totally different feeling than a big festival that you're out on the stage like a puppet and the first people are in 30 feet away, you know. And yeah, it's totally different. And I personally prefer the closer thing in a club, you know, because then you can feel the reaction. You feel the people, how they like it or not, you know.
Sure. It's a more personal experience, I guess.
It's much more personal.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And that's the reason why I'm really looking forward to play with Panzer, because I think we do a lot of club shows.
Sure. Any tour info?
I mean, the record is out now 10 days.
Sure.
So you just have to spread the news, but there's already one festival in Germany confirmed. It's the Summer Breeze Festival.
Oh, sure.
And right now we are talking about supporting UDO, believe it or not.
That could be interesting. So
yeah, for Europe, but we don't know yet if it will work out or not. It's always a kind of like financial thing too, you know.
Oh, sure, yeah.
If you can't just say these days, okay, we go out on tour. You have to finance it too.
Right. Yeah. But it's not like
the record will not finance this anymore.
It's not like you guys are a bunch of beginners, though, and this is your first go-round. So
yeah, but
all three of you have been around for.
I mean, we don't want to get money out of it. That's for sure. If you support somebody, you won't get money out of it. But at least I don't want to bring money. You know.
Sure.
I'm getting tired of this.
Okay. Hey, Herman, what do you do in your free time, if you have any free time? Do you enjoy cooking, or maybe skydiving, or something in between?
No, not interesting like that. I go for Fight Club.
Oh, okay. Like
I go at least 3 or 4 times a week. I go to my really nice buddies, and hit them on the face.
Okay.
Nah, they're real polite but next to my home, in the backyard, there's a club. It's not called Fight Club, but I mean, you learn things just to put the other guy down.
Right,
as fast as you can. And there's a little, I call it chop suey, because it's a little of karate, you do anything, you know.
Okay.
And I really like to do this.
Have you been hurt doing that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Once in a while. If you don't pay attention.
you tell them to stay away from your hands, though, I imagine.
No, I mean, I was always afraid, but 3 years ago I started with this. I did a couple of other things in my yard, and then I was afraid about my hands, but this time I said, hey, if you really concentrate it, then nothing will happen.
Okay, well.
And so far, I'm glad. I mean, maybe you got once in a while you get a little bit black and blue. But hey, that's kind of a good thing, because you can leave your stress.
Okay.
And you stay in shape.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's a good workout.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
And in training, in practicing, you don't hit with full power.
Sure.
You can't. Otherwise, every 10 seconds somebody's doing that. End of training, no. You have to really take care about it.
Sure.
But it's okay. And they take care about me too, because I'm not the best in this one. There are people that are younger and they got more experience like me.
Okay. And they know your background. So.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Hey, last question. Our site is called We Love Metal. So why does Herman Frank love metal?
Because I was born, when I was young, I listened to metal, and I'm getting old, and I'm still listening to metal, and I still love it with all of my heart.
Okay, that's a great answer. It's I think that's the way it is for a lot of us. We grew up with it, and it's still here. It's not just a phase.
Rather you have it inside, or you never will get it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time today.
Thanks for talking to you. It was nice talking.
We appreciate
I enjoyed it.
And hey, to all the listeners out there, go get this album. Send Them All to Hell. It's some serious power metal thrash. It's really good.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Okay. Thanks, Herman.